with me again, Jaren Shade. Look, I'm not sure how much of that you actually saw. I'm checking right now. So apparently I got 14 minutes and 51 seconds of my video uploaded to you guys. I hope you guys were actually able to see majority of that. I'm sorry if you guys weren't, but last time we left off, I was completely dying in that game. I literally died as the game was playing. It literally killed me off. Like maybe about I don't even know. I was thinking about 4 or 5 times that I died in that game. I was like, thinking, what the heck? Thought it was my phone, but I realized I was actually playing the game. Well, a level 2 of the first part of my game. So I guess as you try to fill in more stars, it gets a little harder for you to play. So I switched gears, and I actually decided I'm gonna show you some of my artwork that I've been working on. Herculean Comics for Herculean comic characters. Basically, these are my um characters from my comic brand I'm trying to start. So the thing is about Herculean Comics, most of my characters, I will say this, yes, are black. Okay, full discretion. I think there's a lot of characters. I mentioned this in the other video that I think a lot of the characters we have today that are black are underappreciated and underrated. So, yes, a lot of my characters are black. So, as I go on into this, I'm going to be sharing you the backstory, the tales, and basically the main things about some of my characters. So, Herculean Comics. Basically, I got this idea when I was about 17. I was like in a rough spot in my life, so I turned to like art and making comics. And this was a time, mind you, when I was actually reading a lot of comics. So I decided to make Herculean Comics. Its first name was Zuma Yunga Comics. I was literally picking something off the top of my head. Herculean Comics did not come about until it was about maybe a year ago. And that's when my characters became more organized. So, this here is a character I like to call Peacebringer. He's basically a guy who was like enhanced with strength, durability, speed. He can't fly, but he can leap very far distances, kind of like Hulk or Superboy. So in a sense, he's like a minorly overpowerful guy, kind of like Superboy is to Superman. Superboy the clone, that is, Connor Kent. And if you've never seen Young Justice or read comics, that's go look. This is a space character from my space series comics called Astromachy. This is Wrath. He's basically like a soldier, a general, like a lieutenant general, basically of a space army of bad guys. Pretty much, yeah. And I really don't have a backstory on him yet. He's just one of those side characters you'll see, but doesn't really have a backstory. This here is Ray. Ray's thing is that he was basically raised in a cult, kind of like Raven was born in a cult, but he's raised in a cult called the Black Paw. He literally was born of darkness, and his power is able to like turn into mist. He's basically teleporting. He can teleport, basically summon weapons out of the air, can perform magic spells, and I'm not really sad if he's a bad guy, but I will say he's not a bad guy. He's just a guy that basically not a lot of people will trust. But he pops in there when you need him. This is Red Hornet. Basically, when I was thinking of Red Hornet, I was trying to think of like the Yellow Jacket, Bumblebee from DC, and Ant-Man at the same time. And I came up with the idea of the Red Hornet being like he was a bomber pilot. He was like a pilot in the U.S. Army, and seeing how a lot of war crimes made him like the things about war just messed him up. So he literally retired from the army, became a technician, and developed his own suit called the Red Hornet. And this suit was used for military projects, but he made the first prototype, and before it was mass produced, he actually took the suit and became the Red Hornet himself. This is Ruckus. Apparently, you get the picture Minotaur, ancient Greek creature. Basically, Ruckus is like a Minotaur from a parallel dimension that comes to Earth and becomes, I'm not sure, a hero or a villain. His name is Ruckus, so I'm not sure yet about him. He's like one of those side off characters. My thing is that he may more really probably, it's probable that he's gonna be super villain. I haven't really quite fully developed his character. This is Hellhound. Now, Hellhound was a character I was trying to perfect when I was about 17. Hellhound is from the depths of hell himself. And no, I should say itself because I don't really come up with an ambiguous title for hell. But Hellhound basically a demon spawn from hell, and he's not a bad guy actually. He's kind of a kind-hearted, sweet, gentle creature. He's kind of like a Hellboy version of Hulk. This is Gamma Fist. Basically, Gamma Fist was an idea that I came up with recently. I was thinking like if I had a character that was like Green Lantern, but like Hulk at the same time. I guess the thing that gave me the idea for Gamma Fist was like I was watching Simpsons versus meets Family Guy, and that part where Homer and Peter Griffin start fighting each other, like the times when Peter will fight that chicken on Family Guy. So it was kind of like that. But in one scene, Peter and Homer fell into the vat in the power plant in Springfield and became like gamma infused superheroes. Basically, like Superman meets the Atom meets Captain Marvel, all infused with gamma radiation. Yeah, so it's kind of like that. Captain Nebula. I haven't quite fulfilled or filled out his backstory. Like I said, like I said for Wrath and Ruckus, he's basically a character I have plans for, but I'm not sure where he stands. This is a ninja from a regime called the Zodiac Knights. He's one of 12 ninja warriors, and basically they have the power of the Zodiac symbol. He's called White Dragon, and I don't have a really actual name for him. Like I said, with Ruckus and also Captain Nebula, he's kind of like not fully developed. Promethean. Promethean was an alien born. His story is very similar to Superman. He was born from another planet. His planet was destroyed. He came to Earth, and but unlike Superman, he grew up in a lab. So kind of like Homelander but except he's not crazy like Homelander. He's more um like Superman. He was raised in a lab, but he was treated well like a child of the man who studied him. So Promethean's powers are basically strength, speed, sonic flight, healing, and among other things like laser vision, heat vision, X-ray vision, thousands of visions. He can actually hear from Mars distances like Superman. So he's kind of like Superman. This is Promethean's clone, which was also made by the lab Defender. Defender is kind of like a more aggressive Promethean, but he also is sweet natured. He's like, in a sense, if Blade were to be Superman, he has Blade's attitude and Superman's demeanor. This is Pink Paradox. Now, again, I know you're noticing a lot of my characters are black. I told you. I am very pro black when it comes to like making comics and movie characters. We need a lot of black characters and we need a lot of diversity. And yes, my comics will be showing mostly black people, but hey, it's cool. So, Pink Paradox is basically in my idea, kind of like Starfire and the Sapphire Lanterns, Pink Lanterns, or whatever they're called. So, um, basically, she's able to. Like I said, I haven't really been able to work her backstory as well, but so far as I know, she's able to conjure up green energy, and she's has the powers of like what Supergirl would have, but most of her thing is green energy. Okay, this is a guy called Lex O'Hara. I haven't had completely a full story on him. Actually, his name is Hector O'Hara. The next guy you'll probably say is Lex O'Hara, but he's basically a space ranger. He's basically like a space ranger. I was getting the vibes of Buzz Lightyear when I made this character. This is his partner, Lux O'Hara. So Hector Hale, Lex O'Hara. They're both space rangers from different dimensions, though. This is Madam Vex. Thinking about Madam Vex, I was actually thinking about like Femme Fatale from like classic noir stories and stuff like that. So I was like thinking, what if it would be cool if I had a dimension where everything is like black and white, and this woman somehow is able to time travel or basically dimensionally travel through the universe and comes to our universe, but it's stuck as black and white, and she's driven to where she wants to like gain control of the whole world and be its ruler, basically, her like its dominant ruler. This is Lady Vixen. Oh yeah, Lady Vixen. That was Madam Vex, but this is Lady Vixen. Lady Vixen is basically kind of like Madam Vex, but in a sense she's like the hotter yet sadistic side of Cruella de Vil. So yeah, basically a more sadistic side of Cruella de Vil. Instead of trying to take fur from animals, she's out to kill people, to get rich, and to basically take over the world. This is Brunhilde. Okay, so I know the thoughts you're getting. She's yes, kind of like Valkyrie from Thor, but she's more human. Instead of being a Valkyrie of descent, she's basically the daughter of Thor, and is the daughter of Thor, so a human being. So she's part Valkyrie, but she is also part human. This is the communist. Now I'm gonna try to skip this one because I don't want to offend anybody out there. I don't want to like it's basically he's like a Russian built protocol droid to destroy the world, basically to cause mankind to submit. So he's an android. Okay, so this is a two in one. This is Norman, but he also has a sister named Paula. I was getting Danny Phantom vibes, and I felt like creating a twin set of heroes that basically could communicate with ghosts and paranormal demons and stuff, and literally have the ability to just defeat them. Like they can summon ghosts and absorb their energy and make their own auras, basically, and fight ghosts and stuff. Yeah. Okay. When I was creating this, I was thinking of a Jedi type. This is Jarso Noraj Quinero. He is a leader in space faring, well, basically a universal monk system called the Nomads. They are basically guardians of the universe, and they use something that's kind of like the Force, but they don't call it the Force. They don't have a name for it as far as I know yet. This is Jarso Naraj Kanano's alternate self, who literally becomes like Lord of the Universe and becomes known as Lord Saturnus. So this is basically the vibe like you would get like if Anakin did not become Darth Vader in the machine basically and defeated Palpatine. Okay, this is Lord Surtur. Lord Surtur is an alternate dimension warlord, and he basically is like out to conquer the world. Okay, another nomad character. This is Lord Arachnus. Now, Lord Arachnus was once the teacher of Jarso Naraj Quinero, but obsessed with conquering the world and having power, basically conquering the universe in a sense, he joined a group of nomads who returned and became known as the Huns. Lord Arachnus soon became their leader and worked for the Emperor. Caesar Vodler. Caesar Vodler was like, in a sense, Palpatine, but he ruled mainly. His city was on Earth. He started out trying to form the Soviet Union again, and the Soviet Union soon crossed worlds, other planets, and began dominating them. So soon, the Soviet Union became known as the Soviet Empire. This is Captain Anvil. He's kind of like durable, and strong. So he's kind of like in a sense. I wanted to give him vibes like that, ring off like Mr. Incredible. He's not indefeatable. He's not undefeatable, and he's not immortal. But he's more strong and durable, and he's able to like pack a punch. This is his daughter, Miss Anvil, who has the same strength as her father. This here is a character I'm very proud of. I know it gives you Superman vibes, but his name is Commander Dynamic. What I was looking for was here to give a vibe, like a little friendly vibe, because I had gotten the idea of the suit from a TV show that I watched when I was a kid called Arthur. In it, the kids had these superhero characters that they loved watching on TV that gave you the vibe of Batman and Superman. The Superman character's name was Bionic Bunny. So since I didn't want to take the word bionic or even consider the idea of a bunny, I came up with an idea of Commander Dynamic. Commander Dynamic is basically this version of Superman, and in a fight, if it were against him and Superman, I think it'd be a draw. So, this is a zombie hunter I created called Gale. He's basically on his own in the world. I got the idea from characters from like a combination of The Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead, um, The Nation, Resident Evil, and The Last of Us. So basically, that's what it's gonna fall like. It's gonna be a serial series called Dust We Shall Return, where the world is turned apocalyptic and zombies run wild, and monsters and vampires and all that. This is a friend of Kale's named Gabby. She was orphaned as a child in the dystopian world, and now she is on living on her wits. And this is also another friend of Kale, and her name is Jenny. And I know what you're thinking. If you've seen Resident Evil, yes, she does have the vibe of Jill Valentine. I'm gonna redo the character sometime to give it a little bit more authenticity and a little bit of its own origin. So Jenny is basically Kale's friend, and she too is a is a zombie hunter. Okay, a little unknown about this guy character. He's called Captain Defender. He was just something I was spitballing, and he has a role, but I just haven't figured out his origin story yet. This is Elixir. Elixir was a scientist, and he basically created a serum that stopped aging cells, and that also gave him the ability to heal regeneratively, to heal rapidly, basically. And in that, it gave him the power to strength, speed, increase his speed, his strength, and his durability. So basically, Elixirs now has the power of living young forever and almost being unable to be killed. This is Equinox. Equinox is basically Captain Marvel in a sense. He basically patrols the universe, basically. I don't have a backstory for him per se yet either. This is Dark Dynamic. Dark Dynamic, like I said, Arthur had a show that he liked in the series, in the TV shows on PBS Kids called Bionic Bunny and Dark Bunny. Bionic Bunny, I already said, is basically Superman in a sense, but Dark Bunny is basically their Batman character. So I created Dark Dynamic, and basically it's kind of like our darker version of Commander Dynamic in Batman style. Okay, when I was making the Atlanta Falcon, I was getting ideas for like the Falcon from Marvel and also Captain America. I was also in that vibe, so I was like thinking, what if Atlanta had their own patron hero called the Atlanta Falcon? So you got this. This is Grimoire. Grimoire is basically the embodiment of all dark magic, basically, and that's why it looks like this. Because for years of studying dark magic, he soon became able to gain the power to live forever, but at the cost of his mortal flesh. His flesh would decay, and soon he learned that he would have to walk the earth as a skeletal monster. This is Bakuran. Bakuran. Okay, hold up. Barakan. Barakan, I had vibes from like Mortal Kombat, when it came to Kotal Khan and Shao Kahn. So Barakan is basically a character in a series of comics that I'm going to be making. I'm not sure what to call it, but it's kind of like you can have that Mortal Kombat vibe and Tekken and Street Fighter. He's basically emperor, a warlord emperor of his own nation, and though the people serve him, they do it out of fear, knowing that he can kill them. There are some supporters of him, and there are others that don't even matter to him. He has a large harem of women, and one of his queens actually rules and is more sadistic than him. Her name is Sababwa. Barakan will do anything for Sababwa to get her to approve of him, to actually serve him, to gain his at her his admiration. Basically, he wants her to admire him more than anything else. So far, it has worked, but Sababwa wants her own title. She wants to be known as the woman who stands with Barakan rather than the woman that stands by Barakan. This is Feral. When I was thinking of Feral, I was thinking like Vixen mixed with Catwoman. So Feral is basically part of these species of humans called hybrids. They are actual humans that were born with an animal DNA. Feral, as you can guess, has cat DNA. This is Blackjack. Blackjack is basically an outlaw who time travel basically into other dimensions and goes around trying to rectify his sins by hunting down evil. This is also a character from my series Astromaki, Cherise Actis. She is basically a commander in the army of Caesar Wadler. She also works with the Huns, but she's not a Hun herself. She is actually just a soldier. This here is Lord Saturn. He basically is the version of Jarso Naraj Poinano being Lord Saturn himself, but in his dimension. Remember, Lord Saturnus is basically Jarso's alternate self, but Lord Saturn himself is the dimensional in the same dimension as Jarso Naraj Poinano as the original. So Saturn was basically, as you could tell, a high and esteemed nomad, but then turned evil and went to the side of the Soviet Empire. He works with the Hun master Lord Arachnis, though Saturn was the first one to join Caesar Wadler's side. It was Arachnis that gained the admiration of the Emperor. This is a character I came up with when I was younger, but in time developed. This is Dante's IMAX. As a human soldier, actually transmitted his mind memories to a robotic. He volunteered to do this, and in time became known as Dante's IMAX. Dante's IMAX basically has the memories of the soldier and the emotions of him. And so using all this, Dante's IMAX becomes the first biological automatic weapon. In a series I like to go on in my Herculean Comics, this is part of a fantasy comic series called Fengard. This is Fenrir. He's the king of Fengard, an island of people who basically left other worlds to return to the ways of old. And hidden within the mist is the island kingdom of Fengard. And Fenrir rules this place as their king. This is another character, Mary Ann, who is from the same world that Blackjack is in. She, in time, comes to time travel with him and basically creates her persona as his psychic. Normally, Marianne will do most of the work, while Blackjack is on a side adventure, or either way, being idolized by many women and fawning over how many fans he has. This is Ravager. When I made Ravager, I was trying to get a vibe of a dark Damian Wayne and Tim Drake, basically. So yes, I was trying to get Robin. I was trying to bring out the Robin. So Ravager is basically, I haven't paired him with anyone yet, but he's basically gonna be one of these characters' sidekick, and basically he's a techie and a smart guy, but he also has brawn. This is Obsidian. Obsidian was gonna be my version of like the Hulk and thing together. So Obsidian is basically from another planet that is comprised of like stone creatures, and basically Obsidian is, well, a guy who fell to Earth, showing that he was revealing his species, and basically became a soldier in time. This is Red Tiger. This is not the Red Tiger. This is the Hogosha Red Tiger. He is basically the first Red Tiger there ever was. But in time, he becomes Hogosha, which is the guardian spirit, or the guardian itself, of two clans, the Hakari and the Kurokage. The Kurokage was known as the Black Shadow Clan, and the Hakari were the Light Clan. He became their guardian symbol. And together, the Hakari and the Kurokage all work together. So it's kind of like a Mortal Kombat issue. This is also going to be in that comic series where I pinned Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, and Tekken all together. This is a character I really want to delve into sometime, but his name is Calamity. Calamity was a soldier and a big brute of a soldier as well. He was like basically, I want to say, a buck sergeant. I want to say Major Payne, but I do not find Major Payne intimidating. Let's just say he's Major Payne times 10, so very intimidating, and Major Payne times 10 on steroids. So Calamity was volunteered, recruited more really into our program that turned him into this, basically a hulking war weapon that knew no bounds. And basically, this is what makes Calamity a threat. He became so absorbed with his power that he literally let it take over him and started using it against other people. Well, this is a comic cover I tried making. It was nothing big, really. This is Night Raid. Night Raid is my black version of Batman. Like, I know Batman is a singular iconic character, but come on. Literally, I can't. What team is great without their stoic, dark, enigmant character? And Night Raid is that character for Herculean Comics. He's like that stoic, dark, enigmatic character. Tongue twister. So Night Raid, he's not the same as Batman. He's a guy who basically wanted to do right, was always bullied, so he decided to use the fear that was put on him to basically use it against others. So, kind of a way, yes, Batman, but in other tense, through the cause of what made him like this, was different from Batman. This is is Snow Angel. Basically, Snow Angel is from a different dimension, unknown to man, and she has the ability to control ice, snow, and all that. This, I was really worried on this character. I'm thinking that we do it a bit. It's Sniper Mantis, or just the Mantis. Either way, Sniper Mantis was a soldier during the Vietnam War, and he literally saw cruelty in everything that they did to Vietnam. So he went AWOL and escaped to China. He became a student of the Buddhist monks and learned the ways of wushu. Well, actually, Wing Chun. I mean, yeah, Wing Chun. And learning kung fu, he became very adaptive to Mantis style. So when he returned to America, he became known as the Sniper Man, using his gun, his sniperman skills, and also the Mantis style kung fu. This is Orcus. Orcus is basically an orc king that lives in the realm where Fenrir of Fengard lives. And you guessed it, Orcus is an enemy of Fenrir. Okay, this is a character I've not yet completed in storyline, but his name is Triad Assassin. He is literally an assassin for the Yakuza clan and the Triads, and basically has an assortment of enemies that he tries to kill because ultimately he's a bad guy, but he will try to kill superheroes such as Red Tiger and a few other characters. This is a character, a minor character to another story. I'm not gonna go detail on him, but he's basically a kid agent, basically like a super agent for his dad's um company, and basically works with some friends of his dad as a spy. Yeah, and this is Stephalion. Stephalion is actually a warrior who is from another dimension called Hesperia. Actually, it's more really a planet, but it's a planetary dimension where he is like descended from a great clan of warriors, of winged warriors. Basically, Stephalion was a bird in Greek mythology that Hercules had to kill. And these birds were especially known for their sharp wings of metal. So basically, Stephalion here, he basically is like a guardian warrior, and he's also the king of his own people. He's a young king. His name is Aristotle, but a lot of his people call him Stephalion. One of the adversaries of Stephalion people are the Valkyrie. Knowingly, Valkyries are the female warriors of of Thor and Odin. But in Hesperia, Valkyries are like winged female warriors that are kind of like Stevalian, but in a manner of speaking, they fight with honor and hold honor to the highest core. This is their queen, Thea. And Thea and also Aristotle argue a lot. They become good friends, and in time, they become romantic lovers, and they soon unite their kingdom against their enemy. This is a Fengard warrior knight slash knight. Basically, he's a lawman and a knight in the kingdom of Fenrir's kingdom, Fengard. Basically, yeah, he's basically with Fengard. So you'll see as these characters progress. This is the enemy of Hesperia, which is the world where the Valkyrie and Stephalians live. This is King Rorak, and he is king of the Stone Men. His weapon, the Hammer of the Gods, is forged in forges of King Hephaestus, of the god Hephaestus, the god of fire and smithery. The hammer itself is able to control the elements of fire, earth, and lightning, and only the weapons of the gods, can actually kill the stone giant king Roark. This is Camazotz. Camazotz is basically the embodiment of the bat god itself, Camazotz. But the host of the bat god, Camazotz, is actually Romero Ramirez. Romero Ramirez was an archaeologist and found the tomb of Camazotz, basically a temple. In it, he was possessed by the bat god himself and made into a vessel to do his bidding. Camazotz himself is an enemy of Night Wraith. This is Iron Wolf. A lot of backstory is not complete on him. He was a scientist for the Nazis, obsessed with hybrid DNA. So he concocted a suit that used wolf DNA and human DNA, creating him into an ultimate super weapon called the Iron Wolf. Later in life, his grandson would be the um the Iron Wolf himself, and would remake the suit into like an Iron Man wolf suit. But his great grandson would soon become the leader of a hybrid community, and he would be known as the werewolf. The werewolf and the Iron Wolves, who was the team of the werewolf, would in time fight his grandfather and his father to stop them from taking over the world. Okay, I'm gonna try to go through these really quick. This character, and this character are part of a team called the Barnacles of Polynora Angel Force. They are basically kids, and they, in a sense, to get it out, they are kind of like the Power Rangers in a sense. There are three different types of Barnacles of Polynoir. This is the first team. They get their powers from angels. The orange one, his name is Jackson, and he gets his powers from the angel Azrael. This is his brother Joey, and he gets the powers of Gabriel. And this is their friend Jaren, and he gets the power of Michael, basically making him the leader. This is another set of team members for another set of Barnacles Polynoir team, which are kind of like Power Rangers. They're called just the Barnacles Polynoir because they're the first team ever. This is Solar. His power and his code name come from the serpentine creature, the Python. This is Nathan. His powers come from the proudness and the agility of the snow leopard. And this, their friend Ashley, she gets the abilities of the Siberian tiger. Okay, this is actually an iconic character from my Herculean Comics series, known as Vane. Jacob Pest was not born to status, but soon gained status throughout his life. It soon went to his head, and he became financially powerful and wealthy. In time, he became the hero Vane when he was enhanced by a metallic alloy. And inside his blood cells, the alloy rested and bonded with his DNA and his cells, causing him to absorb and emit energy. The only downfall is each time he emits energy, he loses some energy. So these gauntlet parts of him on his wrist actually store another set of energy that he can absorb. And they actually keep track of his energy as well. This is his wife, Chandelier. Now, she turns evil due to a tormenting spirit that tells her her husband doesn't even need her. So Chandelier becomes Chandelier in this sense. Her name is Jackie Chandler, and she becomes Chandelier after absorbing a bit of her husband's power, and she's able to control light. So, in retrospect, she's kind of like DC's character Dark Delight. She's able to absorb light but use it for evil. This is a character named Mandrake. He and his brother, the Dark Angel, are basically half brothers. They come from the same mother, who was an angel, but Mandrake's father was a demon, and Dark Angel's father was human. So technically, they have the same set of abilities, but have different demeanors. They are still allies, and they work together, but Mandrake tends to work alone best. And this is Black Vein, the alternate self of Jacob Pest. Black Vein absorbs energy through a principle called black or dark energy. This causes him to turn evil and to basically, sometimes overpower Vane himself. All right, guys. I appreciate you guys watching. I hope you got a lot out of this. Like I said, if you guys have any comments, like I said in the last video, if you have any comments or want me to talk about certain facts, like movies, cinema, comics, some natural facts like nature or something like that, try to give me some ideas in the comments below. And I hope you guys have a great night. I'll see you guys later. Bye.